Hello and welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening to us on iTunes right now, go ahead and leave a 5-star review. I will read them. Even this one that's not so favorable of me, by Sneaky Kitty with an EH. Want to hear a funny nut who buys into conspiracies and woohoo hippie pseudoscience? Well, then this is the podcast for you. She is really funny, but totally explicative emoji in the head. Well, thanks. Thanks, Sneaky Kitty. Whatever.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
That was you. It's all good, guys. I read them. I read the reviews, whether they're favorable or unfavorable. I'm doing stand-up. Come see me. Do stand-up. I'll be in Springfield, New Jersey at Scotty's Comedy Cove, May 21st and 22nd. Then catch me at Hilarities in Cleveland, Ohio, June 3rd. And I'm working on a couple other dates. But check out my website, ChrissieMayr.com, for details and tickets and all that good stuff. Quick shout out to our sponsor, Cushy Dreams. They are my go-to for high-quality CBD products. Look, it's a crazy world. A lot of us are anxious. For me, I found that their products are really, really helpful. They sell high-quality CBD bud in tins, or flower, they call it, and also pre-roll joints. You can enjoy all the health benefits of CBD without getting high. It's like 0.3% THC, so you're not going to get high. It's just, I really like these 5-packs because they're chic. They just fit right into your purse. And like, I'm a joint gal. Like, I don't have a bowl or a bong. I'm a grown woman. I smoke joints. I just have a couple little pulls and my mind and body feel relaxed like within 5 to 10 minutes. And I don't even smoke the whole thing. I really just have a little. So I'm a big fan of them. So go to cushydreams.com, KUSHY dreams.com. Join the men and women who are sick of vapes and gummies and want to smoke their CBD. They have tons of indica sativa blends like Relax, Dream, Energy, Hustle, Create, Peace. So whatever you're feeling, they got your back. Use promo code CMP to get 20% off your order and just let yourself chill out. I'm so excited to have this gal on the podcast today. It's her second time on the podcast. I'm really, really thrilled that she's back. We're here in Austin, where she lives, and we're going to hear all about what's going on locally. She is the host of Unsafe Space. Is it Unsafe Spaces, plural?
It's just one space.
Just
Unsafe
one space.
Space.
Unsafe Space. She's a recovering social justice warrior. She is also the host of, or creator, founder of Civility Dinners, Keri Smith.
Yay, thank you for having me. This is so weird sitting next to you.
It is.
Being able to do a podcast, like, I don't think
We've never met.
Yeah, and I've never done one. I think I can only think of once where I tried doing one next to someone. I'm so used to having to Skype them in. So this is special.
This is, I think, what originally podcasts were designed for was like in-person convos. But I got into it really more so in 2020. So this is like really nice, a nice change of pace. And I love the hat. I love the whole outfit.
I was telling Chrissy beforehand that she should I could tell her where to get the best hats in Austin. And she was like, I don't know if I can rock a hat. And I disagree.
I don't know if I can pull it off. I mean, a hat is a whole lifestyle choice.
Hair.
Look at this.
Look at you.
I've immediately become a woman who works in a band. Like, I work for the band. Like, I don't have any musical talent, but I get there early. I make sure everything's set up. Like, I yell at people. If I don't like the chairs, I absolutely work for a band, where I've slept with a couple members of the band, but like that was years ago. And now I'm like this just in charge.
You sell the merch?
Yes, I sell the merch. I'm like a business. I have business sense. Yes, I like this. I like who I am in this hat.
Actually, this is one of my favorite ones lately. Also, I've noticed if you wear a big hat in the airport, if you're traveling, nobody tells me to put a mask on. I think because they're distracted by the size of the hat.
They're like, look, you've already committed to one accessory. We're not gonna overwhelm you.
Yeah, this might be part of it. Plus, I'll wear the bandana around my neck, and then psychologically, I think
they think you're gonna pull it out.
Yeah, they think, oh, it just fell down for a second. So they don't bother me except when I'm
Wow.
boarding. Like if I'm boarding, I'll put it on, or when I'm getting off the plane.
What airport are they not giving you crap for?
Austin, I don't wear it in the airport at all.
Wow.
You can test this on your way out.
I will.
I even go in. I've been into 2 or 3 different shops there to get water and peanuts, whatever for the flight. Not even in the shop, they don't say anything, but I wear it around my neck.
Okay.
And then the only time I put it on, and I've been in most recently a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, I went through 3 airports, Austin, Dallas, and Minneapolis, and I didn't wear it in any airport, not on the trams, nothing.
That's very exciting.
So
okay.
I don't know all the reasons. I'll just say if you want to try that, get a bandana and maybe a distracting hat.
I do. I need to do the Keri Smith plan of mask evasion. Yeah, I was just in Dallas for 3 days, doing some shows at the Blaze and meeting up with a couple friends. And I went with my friend's wife. We went to Target, and we got to walk in. And of course, the signs say you have to wear a mask. She's like, "No, it's fine. We just don't." So we just walked in without one, and nobody said anything. That's the whole time. It was really amazing. I was like, "Wow, I feel like I'm a person again."
Because where are you coming from?
New York. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've talked to some friends in New York. I think the culture there is a lot more like California in terms of strictness.
Insufferability. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I'm pretty much Austin's pretty bad actually. I live about half an hour north of Austin, and where I'm at, I've been able to go I've been free breathing all year.
Wow, you've just been sucking up all the oxygen, like nothing's wrong.
There's a few places that I know of, and in Georgetown, that's where I live. There's a few places I know of where they will enforce a mask mandate, and so I just stopped going to those places. But all the major like the chains that stayed open during the lockdowns, HEB, which is the grocery store chain here, and Target, like your friend mentioned, they don't enforce it. And the way you find this out is just by testing it. Like I would go into different places without a mask and see if they enforce it or not. And you decide before you go in, okay, if they tell me I have to wear it, am I going to comply or not?
Am I going to make a scene? Am I going to be like, my freedoms? Am I going to knock something over? Am I going to start a fight with a Karen? Yeah.
I don't make a scene. I'll decide ahead of time if I'm going to say, okay, then I won't shop here. Or if I'll say, okay, and put it on. If whatever's in that shop, do I want it bad enough to comply if they ask me to comply?
Yeah. I wonder if this is how most people feel. Like me being in Target maskless, I went in for contact solution. I left $100 poor. I got way more stuff.
Because you're excited.
I was shopping around. I was having a blast. And it's like, I wonder if stores know that, that's kind of the effect. Like if you just let people live, they're going to buy more stuff.
Yeah, because it's fun again.
Yeah.
And there's something really dehumanizing about having to put it on. And psychologically, I know for at least for the people who aren't into it, the people who don't want to wear it.
Yeah.
For those people, I think psychologically
it's like a muzzle.
It's a muzzle, and it makes you feel like you're taking the knee in a way, and it makes you feel like just you have less dignity. And so taking it off, I think I'm in a couple different groups on Facebook that are called unmasked groups, and they're like Unmask Austin, Unmasked Texas, and there's a lot of different local groups springing up, and I get to watch people in there who have been compliant all year, slowly starting to test the boundaries, and they'll go in the group for support. Like, I'm about to go into Target. I'm really afraid. We'll see what happens. And then they'll post and be like, oh my gosh, nobody said anything. It was great.
That's the best feeling. Yeah.
And you can see that weight, that euphoria, that weight lifted off of them of like, yeah, I don't believe in this and I'm not going to do it anymore. And
yeah, it's interesting to see the people who have spent a year and a half on good behavior now, like, well, all that quote good behavior has gotten me nothing. No one's going to hand you back your freedoms. You have to start somewhere.
You have to start just testing. Like, that's why I say just push back a little bit. And then, like, I don't usually, like I said, I don't cause a scene, but I also don't have a lot of those fears anymore, because I started pushing back a while ago. So now I kind of view it as an imperative every once in a while to have fun with shop owners. So there's one very pretentious coffee shop in Austin.
Which one?
It's on the outskirts of Austin. No, I can't say which one, because then somebody will send this video to him and I can't keep doing this. So,
you're like, I love coffee too much. I can't get banned from another coffee store.
So just because they're the worst, like, they are such mask holes. They're not just you have to comply. Like if you my fiance was,
if it falls,
yes, yes, he took it down for a
disgusting.
second to taste his coffee after he added creamer, a second, and he was putting it right back up, and the guy's like, excuse me, you know, and yelled at him, and he's like, dude, I've been compliant this whole, I'm just like, and so they're so terrible that I like to stop in there. I've done this 3 times now. And
I'm sure people who are listening that are from the area probably know exactly what store. I'm gonna look it up when we're done, but yeah.
I'll tell you after we're off air. But I like to stop in there, and every time I do, because it's on a route that I usually take on Saturdays, and usually I'm working Saturdays, a particular route I take. So and it's really good coffee. So I'll stop and I'll angle my vehicle out of the parking lot, and then I'll go in with my mask on, and I'll wear a different hat each time and a different mask, hoping he won't recognize me. And then I order my coffee. And then as soon as I pay for it, we cash, so he doesn't have my name.
Like, thank you.
Yeah,
like,
I tip him.
Like, your dick looks really big today. Like if you do it with compliments, maybe see if they're less inclined to.
Yeah, actually, well, I tip him, and then as soon as he hands me the coffee, I take the mask off entirely. And if it's one of those ones that they give you at the airport, I just leave it on the counter. And he's like, the first time I did it, I had a bandana on, I took it off, and he's like, you know, ma'am,
light it on fire, drop it on the counter in the tipped cup. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, you're not our mask policy. And I was like, your mask policy's stupid. And I tipped you, by the way, but your mask policy's stupid. And then I left. And then the second time I came in,
watch him, you know,
he was like, it's you.
It's you. This sounds like a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
So now we've gotten 3 times in where he's like, the last 2 times he's yelled at me, you're banned. And I'm like, yeah, well, you can't recognize me with my mask.
Wow.
If I'm wearing the mask.
You're banned.
I'm banned, but I've been in there, gotten 3 delicious cups of coffee. But now I just like, that's not really about causing
buy wigs.
a scene. I am gonna get a wig,
like prosthetic nose.
Because at this point, it's like it just makes me laugh, and it's like kind of like trolling in real life, and it's so just funny. Absurd. Yeah. And I'm tipping him, and I'm polite and everything, and then now I feel like somebody, when I talked about this in our podcast, somebody in the chat was like, maybe you'll win him over with humor.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you're cute. And like, just, it'd be so funny if you show up with a wig and you're like, hi, gotcha. See you next week, you know?
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
It's me. And I got your delicious coffee.
I think that's the way into some, to reach some people, is like through humor and charm, you know?
Also, because it's just, sometimes it's just, the rules are absurd. Like one of the women in the Unmasked Texas group I'm in, she said, you know, she went shopping at a mall. I forget which one, maybe a JCPenney's or something. And she said that she shopped the whole time with no mask, which was great. Nobody bothered her. But when she went to check out, they said, we require a mask for the transaction. And she said, well, I don't have one on me. And you're wearing a mask. Plus there's plexiglass here.
Plus I've already coughed all over these clothes. You know, they're mine now.
They're mine. But she's like, can I stand behind the plexiglass? And the woman's like, no. And she walked all the way across the store to get her, and came back to get her a mask. And she put it on, swiped her card, and literally took it off. And then she said, isn't this silly?
Yes. So, good for her for saying that.
Make a point. Like if you have to, you know, to whatever degree I think you feel comfortable pushing back. Yeah. Like start to do so.
Yeah. I did a similar thing. I was picking up a frame that I had actually made. Like, I'm so famous for like, you know, dropping things off and getting it like a embarrassingly long time later, whether it's like dry cleaner or whatever. I've had this frame made of like being in the newspaper in Westchester, and it was near, near my old apartment. So I went there, you know, I think I was supposed to get it October 2019. So here I am, like April, like just last month. Hello, but I have my slip, you know, and I walk in without a mask. The guy goes, oh, sorry, you need to have a mask to be in here. I'm like, oh, that's okay. I'm just picking something up. Like, here's my slip, you know? And like, he looks at it. He goes, okay. He goes and he's like, all right, well, I was like, can I just wait outside the store then while you go get it? Like, I wasn't saying, I'm not like, go fetch it. I'm not that girl. But I was like, can I just wait outside? But cause I'm going to pay for this. Like right. And and then so I go wait outside. He goes and gets the thing in the basement. It took a while because this was an old like frame. And sure enough, and then I hear a knock on the window, and then I like look over. He's there with the thing, and then he opens the door, and it's like I come in without a mask to pay for my thing without a mask. And I wish if I had been a little bit braver, I'd been like, oh, that's interesting. I can give you $150 without a mask. That's okay. But if I were just you know, walking around the store to maybe buy a highlighter. You know, it just, I was happy and proud of myself that I like stuck to my guns, and I made him see how ridiculous it was. Like you have to go get me from outside. Yeah. And you're still taking my money.
You're still taking the money.
Yeah.
It is absurd. And also I like what you did, because sometimes you don't know what they're going to say. And sometimes I'll say, if I go into a place, like there's a CVS near me where I've been in twice, and the guy will say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we require a mask." And then I both times I've gone in, I'm just like, "Oh, thanks, but I don't wear one."
I'm good, thanks. Oh no, I'm full, thanks. Like just saying, like someone's offering you an appetizer. Like, no, I just ate, thank you.
Yes. And they don't know what to do. And this dude, sometimes they do. Sometimes if it's a place that'll say, "Well, you do have to wear one," and they'll get all aggro. Mm-hmm. But this guy, for whatever reason, that works on him. And the second time I went in, he still said something. He was like, "Oh, well, but I have one here." And I was like, "Oh yeah, but I don't wear them, thank you." And he was
that's
like,
really nice. Yeah, to save that for someone else.
And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he just walked away and left me alone. Because he doesn't know what to do with the smile and the polite decline. Yeah. Like some people it will work. So
I think they know what to do with somebody aggressive. Is like you meet aggression with aggression, right. But it's like, are you gonna meet sweetness with aggression? Like, well then you look insane. You know? And I remember like similar, I was in a CVS, like, which is now one of the few places I know I can go and like get away with. It's like there in Dunkin' Donuts, unless that one lady's working, and then it doesn't work out in Dunkin' Donuts. But I went into CVS and he's like, he said, do you need a mask or you have to wear a mask in here? I just responded like, no thanks. I'm just getting this one thing. Like it was not even, it has nothing to do. Like the number of items has anything to do with this jump thing. And then that was it. And he just didn't know what to say. Nothing happened. I bought the one thing. I left with my battery for my scale. And I was like, great, this is a win. So it's interesting to like see coming to Texas, like, you know, and a lot of, we're here this weekend for Comedians of the Compound, and a lot of us are from New York, some of which have never been to Texas. And it's interesting to see like the Twitter posts or like the conversations with the comics. Like, I thought this was gonna be the promised land. I thought, you know, it was gonna be no masks at all. I thought it was gonna be like, you know, but it's still,
you just got to get a little outside the city.
Yeah.
So I was saying, next time you guys are in town, come up north. Okay. And yeah, we will have fun because it's a totally different land. Like even driving south into Austin to see you, I started to feel like, oh, I'm entering the Republic of Austin. It's different down here.
I haven't been to Austin since 2006, but oh boy, is it different. Like we got to this hotel, we saw these bird scooters, and I was like, oh, me and my boyfriend were like, yeah, this looks fun. We zoomed, they go super fast. We zoomed to Stubbs to get barbecue, but then somebody took the scooters away or moved them or something. So we're like, all right, we'll just walk back to the hotel. It's pretty quick. And I'm not joking, like in this 2 or 3 blocks, we were greeted about like 15 crackheads. Like not just, and I'm fine with homeless people. I'm from New York. I'm in New York City all the time. I'm not like a prude in that sense, but these homeless people are like soulless on drugs. Like, you know, when you pass somebody and it's just this like empty,
desperation,
doomy, gloomy, like, yeah, soulless is like the best way to describe it. And it was like so many of those people, one after another, and we're laughing because we're like, damn, this is why the bird scooters are prevalent in this area, because you could just zoom past the degenerates, like, zoom, where's my bird at? Like, I'm imagining people who work at the hotel, like, no, I recommend you take the bird. You know, I would. Are you going to Stubbs? Yeah, take the bird. Go ahead and just zoom past all that.
Birds should include that in their advertising.
They really should. And I'm like, oh, this is stupid. This is lame. And then now I'm like, first of all, they're great because you can go really fast. But yeah, you can avoid somebody asking you for money. Not even that. Like there was a woman tattoos all over her face. Boyfriend's wearing a Tampa shirt. We're clearly in Austin. She went up to him and she was confused. She was like, hi, welcome to, and then looked at his shirt and was like, Tampa? And then she's like, what? Like she like short circuited a little bit. And I'm sure she was wishing she could like do another take, but we were like, we gotta get out of here. It was a lot.
It's really different. Like in the past 5 years, it's gotten a lot worse, but in the past 2 years in particular, it's gotten really bad because in 2019, Austin, the woke city council here overturned the public camping ban. And so it went from a moderately sized and growing homeless population that was primarily camped out under one overpass and up in the hills above Lady Bird Lake,
Were they grilling? I mean, were they making s'mores? Were they telling? Was there a campfire? Were there stories?
I've never seen a campfire. I've seen.
So this doesn't sound like true camping.
Not true camp, but here, get this. Some of the woke stores started donating tents, and they would be on the side like, "This homeless tent brought to you by REI or whoever." And they're
like, you really think you're going to get customers among the homeless? Yes. You know, like.
So if you drive past here, it's just overpass after overpass, and then up on Congress. So when they got rid of that camping ban, the cops had their hands are completely tied. People started camping out in front of businesses on Congress Avenue, which is quickly becoming like the Rodeo Drive of Austin. It used to be a lot funkier than it is now. But I used to work at a friend's boot shop there, and a couple years ago, this guy he was passed out in front of the shop, and he had defecated in front of the shop, and there's nothing they could do.
Yeah.
That's poop. That's poop.
That's poop for my younger listeners. Yeah.
And it started to look like Skid Row in LA.
Literally skids. Yeah. Literally Skid Mark Row.
I see what you did there.
But yeah, that's crazy. I mean, New York City, that's why they power wash the stores and the fancy apartments. They power wash the sidewalks every morning because, yeah, they got to get the pee smell out of there. And now the bundles.
It's destroying the city. And near the campus, like, it's out of control in terms of the panhandlers, the camping. And so what just happened in Austin, which is really interesting, is we just had an election a week and a half ago or so. And Proposition B was to bring back the ban on public camping and, you know, the ban on panhandling. And it passed something like 57% to 43%. And
I'm bad with math, but that sounds like people want it out.
Yeah. And there were even, I mean, I saw in some of the forums, there were a lot of people on the left who at least were looking at the consequences of what happened 2 years ago with that vote and saying, wait a minute, this hasn't been working out. So they were like, I'm a Democrat and I'm voting for Prop B. You know, I'm on the left, I'm voting for Prop B. Quit trying to make this a tribal thing. Wow. And so it passed, and they're supposed to be enforcing it as of this week. I don't know if it was yesterday or today, but driving here, I'm like, oh, it doesn't look like they're enforcing it yet. Like, I don't know.
Nobody wants to be the first one to be like, that's not a thing anymore. Yeah. Sorry, you have to camp elsewhere, like inside the homeless shelter.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that homeless shelters started emptying out.
Wow.
In 2000, as soon as they got rid of the camping ban, then people started choosing to leave the homeless shelter, because it's like, I'd rather camp outside where it's nice and I can panhandle and there's not as many restrictions and there's no curfew to be inside the building.
Get a better tan.
Get a better tan.
Yeah. And you were saying that there are some people that were like the woke folks saying like, oh, don't make homelessness political. It's not a crime. Right?
Oh, there were some protesters after it passed. So I know the Austin American Statesman and KVUE, which is a local, very woke media outlet, they started running photos of these protesters downtown who was like, you know, homelessness, don't make it illegal. And they're basically, these are people who, like a lot of woke people, they're advocating on behalf a lot of the time of people that they don't represent. They haven't been elected to speak for.
We're the homeless protesters.
Yeah, but you're not homeless. And what was really funny is KVUE, in one of their news roundups, they included little man on the streets with different people. And one of them was like, this is Raul. He's homeless and he's for the ban. And I was like,
that's great. Raul keeping it 100. Yeah.
But you know, a lot of these people are university students. They're the blue hair. They're the typical stereotype. I hate to say it.
Why is it blue? Like blue, I've seen pink. I've seen blue and pink seem to be the most popular hair colors.
I think it's a very arresting color. It's like bright. It catches your attention.
But here's the thing: when you dye your hair blue, then there's so many colors you can no longer wear.
Like, you know, what?
You really, I think when you dye your hair, because I had considered, well, okay, in my youth as a high school student, I would like put colored mascara in my hair or whatever, and I like sort of tossed around the idea of like dyeing my hair. But like, let's say your hair is blue, is like, all right, like if you wear green, you now look like a mermaid. Like you have to wear more neutrals, blacks, whites, grays. You know, it's like if you have magenta hair, you got to wear an orange. You know what I mean? I feel like obviously the insane people dyeing their hair these colors are not thinking. Not that they're insane, but like they're probably not thinking about clashing. They're probably just thinking about like how angry they are at their dad.
No, and they're thinking about. I think for a lot of them, what's that quote from that old Kate Winslet movie?
You had I'll Never Let Go, Jack.
No, not that one. That's a great movie.
Paint me like one of your French girls.
Paint me like one of your French girls. No, the one where she says something about substituting personality with hair dye.
Ooh,
and yeah. I think a lot of these people, it's like they're putting on what they don't have a personality. This is how they're forming one. It's like, oh, this is going to be my identity.
Look, I'm interesting.
And, yeah, and this is what makes me unique and cool and different. And all of these things, like, it signals that you're part of a tribe. Not always. I know people who are not woke who have beautiful multicolored hair, like blue or pink or what have you. There's some people who go to my church with brightly colored hair who are not woke. But for the most part, in general, when you encounter that, you're like, oh, that signifies something about your belief system. Yeah. They're telling you what their belief system is. Yeah. With a lot of the time. Don't you think?
It's like interesting. It's also like how the hair thing, the blue hair could be a whole personality. Just like I feel like in the last year, there have been a group of people that their whole personality is over a certain health decision. Or over a certain, way to handle a health situation that's going on in the world.
Are we talking about the coof and the jab?
We are. The old coof jab.
Let's do a little chin wagon about the jab and the coof.
And I've seen on your Twitter pretty recently, and I've noticed this too, it's actually very encouraging to me because propaganda is like turned up to 200. I know DeBlasio, I just saw this, God, I really want to pull it up. There was a video of him talking about why you should get the jab because you can get free French fries.
Oh, yeah, they're offering lots of carrots and sticks lately. I've seen this in the media. They keep saying we need to offer bigger carrots and bigger sticks. And so some of the carrots that they're offering include free donuts from Krispy Kreme, free hot dogs and beer. It's very insulting.
Yeah.
It's like,
is
that him eating fries?
Okay. Yeah. I have to play this because I'm talking about it. And because I am a woman in tech, I am going to bring it up. That's right. Here we go. Sharing it. All right. I hope you guys can hear this. Let's go all the way back here.
Free fries when you get vaccinated?
I'm
not vaccinated. You're saying I could get this delicious fries?
Oh my God.
Why not? But there's also a
imagine you're
burger element to
this sign language guy.
Is it too early in the day to eat a burger? This could be breakfast.
Okay. Yeah, this was today's briefing.
I want you to look at this and think about, again.
Wow, they hate you.
Some don't really want to respect all ways of life, but if this is appealing to you, just think of this when you think of vaccination.
They hate us. They hate us.
It's so good. Yum.
Look at what Charlie says underneath this. He says one of the main drivers of dying from this disease is being overweight when you get it. But sure, ignore healthy eating and push vaccines with French fries.
Yeah.
Oh, they really despise us. That's what this video says to me. It's like they think that we're like Homer Simpson.
Is obesity a higher risk of catching the coof? Seems counter. And that's Barb's. That's my good friend Barb's. Shout out to Barb's. She's done Wet Spot a couple of times. She's an adorable little comic. And I am a big fan of her, not just because she flashed the camera on the last show. But it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. Shout out to Barb's. Yeah, but this is wild. I mean, do you think people are really motivated by French fries to do this kind of major health decision?
I think that they have a very condescending view. I think they're so out of touch with the people that the media keeps calling vaccine hesitant. They're so out of touch with who those people are and why they're hesitant, and they're flummoxed. CNN just did an article where they couldn't wrap their heads around the fact that when they polled this group, which is 20% of the population, and they set it apart, by the way, from the jab resistant.
I feel like it's more than that.
Yeah.
Though.
So the jab resistant those are the people who've said they're not going to get it no matter what. And those they estimate are 15 to 20% of the population. Then they say there's a jab hesitant group, and those are the people who want to wait and see, and those are 20%.
So there's never jabbers, and then there's maybe jabbers.
Maybe jabbers. So the maybe jabbers are 20%, and they said they did a poll, and they're not overwhelmingly Republican. In fact, the majority of them are Democrats, like something like 60% Democrat. Only a small minority of them are Republican. Most of them are independent, or they lean right or they lean left. They even said if you look at who they voted for, they either don't disclose who they voted for, or they voted third party.
Which means they voted for Trump.
Or or there's a split. They're split between Biden and Trump. And so at the end of the CNN piece, it was basically saying, so it was sort of like, we don't know how to market for these people. And if we try and
we don't know how to trick them.
Yes,
we don't know
how
what
to manipulate
carrots
them.
to dangle. We don't know how to condescend to them. We don't know how to intimidate them. We don't know what group to compare them to. You know what I mean? Like if it was one group or the other, you'd be like, don't be like that group. Get the thing.
They said if we run this like a political ad campaign and like we're trying to get people to vote and we do it along the usual tribal politics, we're not going to get them. So this, I think, what we're seeing, this free donut, free hot dog, free beer, free French fries, I think that it shows how out of touch they are. They think we're imbeciles. They think that we're part of a basket of deplorables, that we're all Homer Simpson. And if you just dangle a donut or a beer in front of us. And I'm like, no, do you know what would make me consider it? If you actually let me watch a debate from virologists, if you let me watch any of the numerous things we're not supposed to talk about on YouTube, if you let those doctors stay online, if you didn't take their websites down,
like a Judy Mikovits, you know, like the doctors and the people that it's like, let the people that you've censored speak on this. Yeah,
even and people like Brett Weinstein just had on a specialist. His job is creating vaccines, and he came on to talk about it and talk about some possible risk, maybe, you know, whatever. And I'm not going to name any of those things. I'm just saying he was there to talk about that, and he got dinged on Facebook for it. And it's like, if you want me to feel less skeptical, why are you not allowing people to ask questions? Why are you not allowing there to be a debate or a discussion? That makes me more skeptical. I don't want a donut. I would like to hear two experts talk it out.
What about a steak? What about like a medium rare, like prime rib or something? Oh, right. Are you vegan?
No, I'm not. Not
okay.
anymore.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Okay. I like you a little bit more now. No, I have very good friends that like came down to they're fans of Compound Media, and they're vegans. I'm like, good luck in this town. Like, what are you gonna eat?
Actually, Austin, they'll be fine.
There's plenty of celeries for them. All right.
There's some vegan restaurants. Yeah, they'll be okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's becoming a lot more like LA.
They better take the birds though. I mean, they gotta scoot on past that whole street we went down. Yeah. So I don't think it's encouraging to see this DeBlasio thing, because I'm just like, he doesn't even buy it. His heart's not even in it. It's like, you got to either get better actors. But that's the thing, when you see the actors, we've seen, commercials or whatever, like with actors, they're trying to push it, like DeBlasio, even this very condescending thing on Jimmy Kimmel the other night. That. Oh, Lord. He had a bunch of doctors on.
Yes. And by the way, while you're pulling that up, to go back to that point about we know that comorbidity is a big factor of how hard this thing we're not supposed to talk about affects your body, and they don't care. They're like pushing fast food on you. I mean, I was joking, but look, this is a kombucha. It doesn't taste all that great. No. It's pretty good for you. Why aren't you offering a kombucha?
Can we once for all on this podcast stop pretending that anyone likes how kombucha tastes? Oh boy. All right. That felt good to get off my chest. I think for years I've been like, oh no, it's fine. But you drink it because it's healthy. So
that Pink Lady one's pretty good though. I'm not gonna lie.
I know you gave me your favorite one. It is very good. I know maybe I should try to get a kombucha sponsor. I'm just trying to get this. These are all right. Gosh. This might be it right here. Let me make sure. If you guys haven't seen this by now, I'm going to show it.
This is so condescending.
This is a PSA from Jimmy Kimmel. Used to be funny guy. Used to be on the Man Show. Used to be partners with this guy, Adam Carolla, who I just opened up for not opened up, that sounds sexual, but like I opened for in Appleton, Wisconsin. So funny. He's probably my new favorite comedian. I've always liked him, but just seeing him live, I was like, oh my God, I have the utmost respect for this guy.
That's
awesome.
And
he murdered. Okay, so this is Jimmy Kimmel. When did this come out? I think probably, it says May 4th.
I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor. An actual medical doctor.
I already hate it.
Medicine for 21 years. I am a critical care nurse. I've been a nurse for 16 years. I spent 4 years in undergraduate.
Pretty diverse so far. 4 years in medical school.
And then another 5 years as a resident in emergency medicine. Look at all of my diplomas.
Look at all my diplomas.
I'm 53 now, and I don't have my student loans paid off till well after I
could have been anyone's diplomas.
I can name every organ in your body and tell you exactly what it does. Did you know there are between 60 and 100,000 miles of blood vessels in the human body? I know that because I've studied human bodies. Did you know the human body
oh my
has
gosh.
205 bones?
It's so condescending, and it's such an appeal to authority. I mean, they even say, look at my diplomas.
Oh, this, yeah.
You did? Good. Because it doesn't. I've saved people's lives. I've cracked open a chest and manually beat a human heart. I even delivered some babies in the back of cars. Do you know how many people have shown me weird skin things at parties and asked me if they were dying? Too many. My life is spent trying to improve and save yours. Oh, but you read something on Facebook? Your friend from high school who sells jewelry? She posted it? The one who's 53 and still.
What's wrong with selling jewelry?
You heard of what? On whose podcast? Is he a doctor?
Yeah, that's a big...
Wow, Joe Rogan is such a threat.
Yeah. It's such a threat. It's such a dig at all independent media, though. Not just Rogan, but that's who they were specifically targeting, but all independent media.
And then your kid not getting polio? Well, those two things are related. How about this? You do your job.
The laugh track is too much.
Yeah.
Get the vaccine. Just get the vaccine. Roll the up and get the vaccine.
Now we definitely won't be demonetized because of how many times it's saying get the vaccine.
That's funny.
Brought to you by people who are smarter than we are.
But you know what?
Ugh.
They really, you know that writer's room wanted, the original draft of that said smarter than you are. I mean, think about it. It definitely said smarter than you are, and somebody was like, maybe we should change that.
Just smarter than you.
Than we. But that is so, it's so arrogant. It's so condescending. It's an appeal to authority. If I had a doctor who talked to me that way, I would be out. Goodbye. Yeah. Like,
goodbye. I'm going to go back to my crystals. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
Like, can you explain this procedure that you're going to do to me? No, shut the F up. Look at my diplomas.
Look at this. It's frames.
Like,
I paid for this from the frame store while wearing my mask,
Yeah.
Ugh.
And the doctor, by the way, who I was trying to think of earlier is Geert Vanden Bosch. That's the doctor who Brett Weinstein recently interviewed. And there have been several others who've been censored. The America's Frontline Doctors. They have tried to take these people completely off the internet. They've tried to take down their websites. They've tried to smear them, and they won't. Like, they could have done this. They could have done something like this with doctors who have the opposite opinion, but they won't. They won't. This is the narrative they're pushing. And it's like, look at all you dumb hicks who won't take it. Maybe if we insult you and call you dumb and appeal to authority, you'll listen to us. Now shut the F up and take it. I'm like, that's not gonna work.
Tone deaf, because like let's say the people that are hesitant, like maybe they're not dumb, maybe they don't like being called, like insulting them is not going to be the way. It's like, oh, you know what would make me feel better? Years of testing and studies and posting results.
Maybe you would like to read a longitudinal study, which hasn't been done yet. But
it's condescending, and this is very much the mass culture in New York City, because you can see like the propaganda in New York City. It's very smarty pants, very much like I subscribe to the New York Times just to talk about, like, just to have it out, not because I read it, but because I want people to know. And it reminds me of this like horrible art history professor I had in college, and he was like, if you don't read the New York Times, you're trash. And I was like, all right, let me go major in something else. And it's just this smarty pants crowd. They think this is like so many Democrats, especially New York Democrats, elitists, like they want to be like elitists, right? Like they're smarter than everybody else. They're cunty. Oops. I don't know if I can say that, but
they have an overinflated sense of their own intelligence.
Yeah. And they put down anybody else who didn't go to college or isn't like, it's not even, they think of it as sheep mentality. They think of it as like, it's like nasty. It's something extra, you know? And they just look down their nose at people, and it's like really horrible. And I think these are people that haven't traveled outside of New York or LA, or it's just maybe they make too much money to care about anybody but themselves, and like they just are not intellectually curious.
Yeah. They don't know people who have. It's funny because you're a comedian. When I first saw that bit, I was talking about it with my co-host on Unsafe Space, and I was immediately started imagining the writer's room. Because I've been in writers' rooms, and I was thinking,
the doctors aren't saying this of their own volition.
Oh yeah, there's a writers' room for this PSA. So I was thinking, who are the writers?
Can you give us a finger at one point? That'll be great.
Yeah, and you know who they are. You know exactly. You just nailed them. They don't know anyone outside of New York or LA. They have very elitist, smug attitude. They look down at. They probably use words like flyover states. They they group people in as good and evil based on who they vote for, which is ridiculous. They have, like I said, an overinflated sense of their own intelligence and morality. They think they're more moral than you and more intelligent than you. It's like that Dunning-Kruger effect, those people that are in the mid-range of IQ who tend to estimate their own intelligence as being much higher than it is, and to simultaneously underestimate the intelligence of others. Whereas people who are actually, at the end of that bell curve, who are who have a higher IQ, usually underestimate their own intelligence and then their own intelligence, and they'll overestimate the intelligence of others. So they do the exact opposite. I've seen people on Twitter call them the midwits, the people like in the center.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Or they're like slightly above average, but they have this sort of, I'm so much smarter than everyone else. And
it's like a lack of intellectual curiosity. It's a lack of concern actually for other people. It's a lack of you don't want to get to know other people. I had this, I guess we'll call him a family friend, old guy, like New York elite in his 70s. I was on the phone with him recently, like, all right, hey, how are the kids? And he's like, oh, are you getting your jab? And I was like, no, I haven't gotten it. Oh, do you have an appointment? No. And I just was like, I was very matter of fact about it. And he just could not believe. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'm not worried. I don't know. And it just, his attitude changed, and it just was there's some people that they can't comprehend. It's like thinking outside the box. Like they're so in line step. Like they're just so good at obeying. And if you attach an arrogance to that, people love to think they're better than other people. Especially anybody living in New York City or LA, right? They just anything that's attached to being elite or exclusivity, right? People, there's this whole group of people in New York. Oh, we were the first ones to get the appointments, when they were hard to get. And it's just it all, New York Times, CNN, it's all part of this smarty pants packaging. It's not actually smarter or more intellectual or better.
No,
it's made to look that way so that it appeals to the people that want to be thought of as with the smart group, the better group.
It's like you said, it's a lack of curiosity too, because I've been in, what it reminds me of is, so I got invited to this group, an online group, by this woman who is on the left, and she read an essay, one of the first essays I wrote about leaving the social justice cult. She read it, she liked it, and she wanted me to join this group because she wanted ideological diversity. So I joined this group. It was called Smart Politics. Her name's Karen. I forget her last name, but she writes a lot of pieces for Legacy Media. She's a public person.
Tough first name to have,
Yeah.
Tough Karen. Tough time for Karens of all kinds.
Yeah. But so in that group, I quickly became disenchanted with that group because I realized, because she saw I was doing civility dinners and she thought this is similar. No, she's using civility as a means to an end it's basically a group for people on the left to learn how to use civility to talk to Trump voters, to then get Trump voters to understand how wrong they are about everything and to get them to change their mind. And I was like, oh, so you're not using civility to use civility and to have better understanding and to maybe learn something from this person that's the other to you. You're using civility as a means to an end because you assume you're smarter than them and you're more moral than them. And so you're trying to trick them and pretend to listen so then you can convince them how they're wrong. That's so arrogant. I was like, you're not coming into the conversation as if maybe, like, I'm open-minded. Maybe there's something I could learn from you as a Trump voter. Maybe I could understand why you voted for Trump. Because I guarantee you most of the people in that group, the ideas that they have about why people voted for Trump are wrong. And I know that because I had a lot of ideas about why people voted for Trump that were wrong. Once I started talking to Trump voters, I was like, oh, like I had to adjust a lot of my stereotypes and my assumptions. But you have to go into that with an open mind. You can't go in like, how do I convince, I'm going to use civility as a guise to convince this person that I'm right. That's what these jab people are doing. I've seen articles. They're like, how can I convince my elderly parents to get the jab? You know what I haven't seen? I haven't seen
manipulative.
It's so manipulative. And I don't see, you know, I've even had a few people say to me, and I know they have good intentions, so I forgive it. It's fine. But they're like, oh, I really think you should get it. And they try to manipulate me and tell me why I should get it and pressure me. And you know what? I worry for you that you're getting something that doesn't have a longitudinal study, that we don't know the effects. I worry for you, but I know you're an adult and you're weighing the risks and the possible benefits yourself.
Right.
And so like, I'm not coming to you and saying, I'm so worried that you're going to do this.
Right.
Here's why you shouldn't. I'm not trying to convince you.
Because everyone's body is there. What happened to my body, my choice? What happened to that? You know?
Make up your own mind. And I'm not going to, that's why I see the same kind of arrogance on display here, where it's sort of like, how do we convince these stupid people they're making the wrong decision?
Stupid and confused.
Yeah.
Anybody who's heard of Tuskegee is so stupid and confused, you know?
And they should be asking, hey, let me understand better why you're making the decision you're making.
Because in order to do that, you have to genuinely care about someone else's life experience and like what they've gone through and what they know. And here's like another thing that's part of like the propaganda is the idea that this is out of politeness. Like even Fauci was on Kimmel. I don't know if he was on before or after this like horrible doctor montage, but that he's frustrated about the hesitancy group and it's they keep pushing it down our throats. You don't do it for you. You have to do it to be polite. You have to do it to save other people. And that's where it's like, come on, the government is telling
the public good.
Yeah. That I need to care about other people. Really?
Yeah.
And you guys don't care about jobs or our oil prices or like, I don't know, so many other things that when it comes to health, like our food, the GMOs, like, I don't there's everything, obesity, like you should be promoting exercise, vitamin D. It's like all the things we all know. But the politeness thing is so disgusting. It's like this arrogant politeness when it's not polite at all.
No, and they're manipulating you. Yeah. Anytime a government tells you something is for the public good, I've learned, mostly due to my co-host Carter, I've learned to be very skeptical. Because if you look back throughout history, it's like they always, tyrannical governments, or tyrannical powers in general, always use the public good to push forward tyranny. Yeah. That's how they get you to comply. And that and indoctrination and you know these other fear of shaming and social isolation and you know unpersoning.
You know what else is like not polite? I don't know, telling people what to do. That's kind of that's kind of impolite. Yes. Getting in people's business, asking them if they've made certain health decisions that are none of your business at all. Like how about we all control? I think good rule of thumb is like. You know, as far as like, if you're going to stick something inside me, at least you have to take me to dinner first. Okay. Then I'll consider that's my rule of thumb for anybody who's going to stick something in me.
I was trying to think about like what medical decision we've been talking about this whole time. And I don't know if people realize we were talking about birth control.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Because that's highly politicized right now. No, it's not. Like, isn't it so weird that there's this one thing that it's like, everybody has to be real careful about how they talk about it. But then we would never think, can you imagine if we went on a show and we're like, we can't talk
health
about
decisions.
This type of birth control, like what can I say about it?
What are you gonna do about your arthritis? What are you gonna do about your what's the call when like part of your intestine is hanging out?
Oh, I don't know.
You have like my dad had one. I don't know.
A colonoscopy?
No, it's like there's something in your it's like hernia.
Oh, hernia.
Or is that the one that comes out of your butthole?
I think that's
too hard.
Oh, I don't know.
There's
I think it's that.
I don't know. Anyway, we're here talking about what to do with your hernia. Boy.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's funny how there's all these moral judgments now and restrictions around. And like you said, there's this virtue signaling that's going on. Like people want to feel like, oh, and I didn't just get it. I was the first to get it. And people are taking photos.
Of course, the photos are disgusting, but the disgusting, like, so fake, like so try hard of like the teams. Like I'm on Team Pfizer. I'm in the Moderna gang, and it's like,
oh, I didn't even see that.
Yes, I'll see hashtags and people, they'll post their selfie and they'll be like, oh, I'm in the Johnson & Johnson crew. You know, it's like
I'm in the control group. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, I'm in the Gulag gang.
The Gulag gang.
Yeah.
Do you remember those old? What's that movie? Warriors.
No.
Warriors come out and play. It's like one of those. Anyway, it makes me think of we're all in different teams, like the Sharks and the Jets, like that kind of. Yeah.
When you're a jet, and you gotta be polite. Yeah, if it was about politeness, I don't know where's the effort to get people to stop taking their dicks out on the subway? Like that's not polite.
No, they don't. What you saw out here in Austin on the street, not polite.
Not polite. Like what else is like not polite? Yeah, I would just say like being in someone else's business, like asking personal questions, like how much money do you make? That's not polite, No. I don't know what we're gonna do, but it is very reassuring to see this French fry commercial. These horrible. I mean, the doctor thing is like really too much, and it's like, Kimmel, are you trying to be like, what happened to like late night comedy? It's so far removed from what it once was, from what it should be. Like, do they care about ever getting a laugh about anything?
It's just a church now. People go there to applaud, to have people speak their ideology back to them and applaud. And I actually would love to ask you as a comedian is where do you think things are going? Because I think just looking at it from the outside, I don't work in comedy anymore. I haven't in about 4 years. And in that time, it seems like wokeness just became so mainstreamed and comedy has suffered as a result. And so what is it like being on the road and performing again? Well, first of all, our audience is coming out to see you. Are people afraid of going out, like based on where you're at? And then where do you see things going in terms of what you can talk about? Yeah.
Well, I used to be like, oh God, I'm not sure. But then over the last year, just getting more into doing this podcast, like meeting people like you, it's been such a blessing because I've been able to meet and have conversations with people I never would have if I was just doing stand-up. And it's been great because I've been able to explore like this other part of my personality that like loves going deep with people and loves like conversations. And there are times that I feel like hopeless and like, worried for humanity, but I read, honestly, like they say don't read YouTube comments, but I read YouTube comments and like most of them are like really, really nice and people are like, thank you for doing this. And sometimes I don't feel like I'm not qualified to talk about this, like, oh, I'm not the smartest person or whatever. But I think it helps that I have kind of like an everyman point of view on stuff. And then I get people like you who know more, people who know more than you do, right? To talk. And
look at my awards.
Yeah. Ugh, look at my diploma. It's gross. I feel like I like ate off of my diploma like last week. It's like got a nice frame from the frame store. But yeah, reading the comments and seeing, I really do feel like people talk about the silent majority, right? But I do feel like it's breaking up, and since like people like you and I are like, luckily, like I don't have something that I'm not afraid of getting like fired from something, Yes. And most people, and I used to be upset with the people that aren't speaking out enough, but it's like, people have families, people have to take care of their own first. I totally get that. You don't want to mess up your bag, as Cardi B would say. But I think the people that are in a position to be more outspoken are truly like motivating and inspiring to, you feel like you're leading the way because people behind you, it emboldens them they don't feel so alone. Number one. Number two, It's like they can maybe have the side conversation with friends or coworkers like, oh, I think this is bullshit. Okay. And maybe they are starting to get a little bit more like outspoken on their, anonymous Twitter account or something. And it really does give me hope. And it's like, and I start to think like these late night NBC, like legacy media shows, I think they're just up there. It's not even about money anymore. It can't be about views anymore. I think they're just like, they got to keep doing it. You can't take, you know what I mean? Can't stop NBC. Because if we're based about like on views, I feel like just a lot of these shows wouldn't be going anywhere. I think it's just like paid state communication or whatever. I think more people are pulling away and into like independent podcasters and independent news sources. Like, oh, hey, I like trust this person, and they're not bought, they're not done up, they're not on a fancy set or whatever, and they're not like, I have like a CBD sponsor. Use code CMP for 20% off. And Adam and Eve. If you want a cool sex toy, go to adamandeve.com. And it's like, that's how people know that I'm not like bought and paid for. And so, yeah, sometimes I do feel hopeless, but then like, I've been doing more road shows, and like the audiences have been like, so happy to be there, very much needing like, and I was talking to Bridget Fedesi about this. She's like, I never wanted to be a pundit. Like, I'm a comedian. I'm thrust into this journalist role. Same thing. Elijah Schaffer was like, basically he was a troll for protests. He would like go do man on the street and like interview people and let them like sound kind of dumb, and like you keep doing it. Now he's like a legit journalist and like fact checker, and he's like really doing it. And I feel like I'm doing whatever this is, and you can kind of like be your own expert in a sense. And I think most people will believe like smaller voices than they do.
Well, people want authenticity.
Yeah.
I think especially young people, like a lot of this stuff, like DeBlasio eating French fries, like all of these cynical attempts to control a narrative or to manipulate you or to tell you what to think, that are coming top down from legacy media.
So you're not with us. You're not down here with
and they're
us.
fake, and they're fake, and it smells fake, and especially to kids, it smells fake. And I think the younger generation, what they're calling Gen Z or whatever, I think they crave just authenticity, someone being truthful and real. And whether that's a podcaster, whether that's watching you, or supporting Tom McDonald, who's an independent rapper.
Everyone keeps talking about Tom McDonald. I have to get him on. Everyone is talking about
if you get him on, then you hook me up, because I want to get him on too.
Okay.
I'm so excited. He's got because he does everything himself.
Wow.
He and his girlfriend Nova Rockefeller, they're both independent.
She probably has a hat like that. Yeah.
I don't this would be a little too country for her.
Oh, right. That's not rapper's girlfriend. Yeah, that's definitely like like singer-songwriter.
But she needs a hat like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, she does his videos. He builds the sets. He does construction.
Wow.
He writes all the lyrics.
They produce.
Man. Yeah, he produces everything himself. There's no label, no handlers, nothing. He does it. There's no corporate overlord. And then people are buying it. And the first people I started hearing about him from were parents who were like, oh yeah, I heard about him from my 16-year-old or my 14-year-old. It's like because the young people are finding him. And so he's had all these songs hit the #1 on iTunes, and not only is he not being propped up by the cathedral or the legacy media, they're doing hit pieces on him, and he's still winning. Ooh. And that to me is not just evidence of like he's very good at what he does and the genre that he raps in, but also it's evidence of the fact that people are starving for something authentic that they feel is not being sold to them from some multinational corporation. Yeah. And also here's the other thing I love about him. He's honest about, he truly doesn't give a crap what people say or think about him, because he didn't change his name and get a cool rap name. His name is Tom McDonald. Right. He's like, I don't care. I'm Tom McDonald and I'm here to rap.
Is it McDonald's?
I think that's him. I am Tom McDonald. Yeah.
Everyone is talking about this guy. Shout out to Tom McDonald. If you're listening, we both want you. Okay. We both want you on our pods.
Tom. We could do a joint pod.
Yes. All right. This is Tom McDonald's Till We Tour. Let's see if we could play a little ditty. Let's see. Does he have ditty?
Oh, can I show you one of my favorite ones?
Oh, he looks like, produced by Eminem. Hello. All right.
Is that for real or is he joking? Because he's like, I think
he's joking.
I think he's joking because he keeps Dear Slim.
I mean, that could be real.
Wow. Because he's been taking some shots at Eminem. So that would be interesting.
Should we play this?
Yeah, I haven't seen this.
That's loud.
Oh, this is just a preview. This isn't his video.
I love it.
He does previews for his videos now.
He's such a man. Whatever he's selling, I'm buying. I mean, it's spooky. This is like foreplay. All right, a little too much with the mask.
If you go to YouTube.
Okay.
And
hold, guys. Hold, please. Wait, whoops.
And look up Tom McDonald, Everybody Hates Me. This is my favorite one because it's got a real positive beat.
Ooh. See, guys, we're getting more into music here on CMP.
This one makes me happy.
I don't want to answer one question, YouTube. Stop it. I refuse. Hold, please. Let's get it up on this one.
This one makes me want to dance.
Maybe we should.
And whereas some of the others they're a bit more hard than this one.
Do you know you're really old when you're like, wow, I haven't heard a new song in a while, or a new person making music. That's where I'm at.
White people hate me, they say that I'm using my privilege for evil, I get it. Hey, black people hate me, they say that I'm racist, my feelings don't match with their message.
Wow.
Feminists hate me because I believe that their movement is angry and sexist. Ooh. Girlfriend hates me and I don't know why, but I love her, but I would forget it. Yeah. And gay people hate me because when I see something I don't like, I say that it's gay. Straight people hate me.
Oh, wow, it's so upbeat. Oh, he's good.
You might need a Dr. Phil if you catch me outside.
Ah. I like that they bleeped out the cuss words. Wow. He reminds me of a combination of Forgiato, maybe Bryson Gray, maybe... I'm just naming all the rappers I know, to be honest.
I don't know these people.
I met them all at like MAGA rallies in DC.
I think I was like, I'm too old to know these people.
I only met them through going to protests. Okay, this is awesome and so upbeat. And
yeah, that's my favorite one. But then he's got some that are more explicitly anti-woke. Like he's got one that's called Fake Woke, where he just tears apart the ideology. Wow. And he's got one, I think it's called Canceled, about how, they've been trying to cancel him forever and he's uncancelable. And he's just in your face, just taunting them.
Like God, that's so great.
Yeah.
That's the goal, is to be uncancelable. And it's just like, yeah, you have your followers.
He's independent.
Keep going. Yeah. Don't let your money be reliant on somebody whose values are going to be at odds with yours, or it's going to change your voice.
Yeah.
So.
And I kind of feel that way about at one point, actually it was before our Twitter got banned. Unsafe Space got banned in January when they were doing one of those mass purges.
Oh, the purge.
And we still haven't heard back from them because, like YouTube, you appeal and then it sits there for months and months and they have no timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we were banned and it was for false reasons. It took them until May to give us a reason. And then in May, they said it was because we were trying to evade a banning, which we have not done. We've never been banned before. We didn't have a separate
This
account.
is exactly what Savannah Hernandez was banned off Twitter for. The same reason. I just did an interview with her and she's like, what, avoiding banning? I don't have another,
Yeah. And so we appealed that and said, and they don't feel a need to offer any evidence or proof. And we're like, but that's not true. And so
I said so, I'm daddy.
Yeah. And they haven't gotten, actually it was in March that they told us that. So it's been another few months that they still haven't replied. But when that happened, what was funny is that when you get banned, I think it's supposed to send a chill through you so that you start censoring yourself more. But it's also supposed to send a chill through everyone else because they see these bannings are happening. So I need to start censoring myself more.
Make an example of it.
Yeah. And so that overall it has a chilling effect on the community of people who are trying to push back a little. And what was great was that before that happened, I had already had this epiphany a week before where I realized the podcast is not the end. It's not when people start doing something like whatever it is, if it's a career, like, you know, comedy or writing a book, or if you're on a TV show, or if you're, you know, you're an entrepreneur and you launch your own company or whatever it is. If you start to think of that thing as the be all end all and put it up on this pedestal, then you start to fear something that can be taken from you. And I had already had that realization of like, I can never put something up there that I'm afraid of them or some of people taking from me.
Yeah.
Because then they have power over me. As soon as I have that fear, they have power over me. And so
fear is power. Totally.
Yes. And so it's that really freeing feeling where like, even if we get banned one day or
maybe after this podcast.
Sorry, did I say some of the words?
No.
There's a list.
We have a list
of what not to say. But even
things.
if we get banned, it's like I'm gonna keep doing what I feel compelled to do in one form or another, whether it's writing or doing videos on our website. You know, we've been backing everything up on other platforms. We have our Unsafe Space website, and so I'm just going to keep doing what I feel compelled to do. And I'm not fearful of. I know people think, oh, that's easy to say, but do you really feel that way? It's true. There's nothing that I fear them taking from me. Mm-hmm. And that's really freeing when you get to that point, because it's like, I don't know, I'm going to keep on being me no matter what you do or what happens. And I've already gotten past so much fear already.
Yeah.
Like now I feel like, I'm going to not to get too God.
I was just about to get godlike. I literally had a godlike comment in my head, and I was like, "Do I want to go there?"
Go there. Yeah. What were you going to say?
No, it's like it's almost like I don't know. You feel kind of like protected. I feel like I'm being helped along, like deliver whatever the message is, even if it's just my own what I'm experiencing and seeing.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you believe in
I
God?
do. I mean, I was confirmed, raised Methodist. And then we stopped going to church after I was confirmed. So I was like 14. But then like I went to, you know, like here and there. It's like, but now I don't know. I don't know if it's getting older. Like I feel like I'm entering a phase where I'm like really curious about the Bible. And I'm like really, I don't know. I feel like I've always been somebody who's looked for like reassurance, like new agey, like crystal self-help books. It's like, but I think all that stuff can also be found in Christianity.
It's leading you back.
So that I'm kind of just like, oh man, like why don't I just go to the source, you know? And I always associated Christianity with being like corny. That's my grandma, and she has 100 Bibles. She's always trying to slip me a New Testament. You know, that's for old people. But like, yeah, I feel like I'm headed there.
Oh,
you know?
it's so like because I'm a pretty recent Christian, and I know for me now, when I look backwards, because I was in the social justice faith for about 20 years. And I know for me, looking back, I can say, yes, it functioned as a religion for me, and it filled that hole, but it didn't fill it entirely. It's like trying to fill a God-sized hole with sawdust. It's like, just keep putting more sawdust in, and it's not.
And you're not happy. Like these people aren't happy.
And they're not the miserable fucks.
Yeah.
Can I curse?
No, but it's fine.
Sorry, bleep that.
I mean, no, this is just a new rule. Like,
okay. Oh, wait, right. Cursing. Damn it.
It's fine. They are miserable fax machines.
Yes. So during the God part, I curse with that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're miserable. And I think people try to fill that hole with other things, whether some people try to fill it with alcohol or
penises.
Sex. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was me. Yeah. That was
mine. And then
mine.
It's like not fulfilling at the end of the day. And so when I came back to God, I was sort of, there's a verse. If you do get interested, I went through that period where I started being like, oh, wait a minute, I should read the Bible.
Yes, I heard Proverbs is really good for advice. It's like quotables. It's like just sage, like wisdom. Psalms is like soothing too. It's like
Psalms is comforting.
You can kind of be like intimidated by the whole Bible. Like, where do I start? Do I start at the beginning? That's boring. Or is it like you buy these spirituality books? They're like, just open to whatever page and read it, and that's what you're meant to have that day. So
Psalms is comforting, but yeah, when I started reading it, I had this moment where I realized, oh, like a lot of the things in my life that I think I insisted on figuring out the hard way by going through it.
Yeah.
There's sort of a guideline in there of like, oh, look, Jesus kind of enumerated all these guidelines to help you have an easier
life. He kind of wants to help humans get through life easier. And it's not like a daddy you have to fight against and rebel against. It's just like a friend, like a buddy, and all knowing, like I created humans and this is probably what you're going to run up against.
Yeah. And instead of thinking about those things as restrictions on freedom, which is the way I used to think of the Bible or think of, you know, rules for living, now I look at those things as more, even if you don't believe in God, even if you look at the Bible as a collection of human wisdom that has survived throughout the centuries, throughout the ages, even if you look at it that way, these are guidelines that are written with love and with a desire to help you have an easier time of it based on accumulated knowledge and wisdom.
They're not trying to sell you something. They're not trying to get you to vote for them.
Yeah. Like, hey, don't lie. Your life's going to be a lot easier if you learn that.
It's going to be, it's less to keep track of. Yeah. So that's so interesting. That's really cool. And I noticed after January 6th, how hard they started coming after Christians. And I was like, ooh, they're starting to come after them really hard. Like, they must be a threat. Interesting. You see, whatever the legacy media comes after hard, you know, that's a big threat. And it's Rogan. It's, I guess, Christianity. I guess it's free thinkers. Anybody with a plan
Jordan
of their
Peterson.
Own. Yeah.
That came after hard. Christians, it's interesting. They, you know, if you look at China and how they treat the Uyghurs and also how they treat Catholics and Christians, it's any competing belief system. That's how you know it's like a religion, because they view religion as a threat and as a competitive, because it is a competitive system of belief. And Christianity happens to be one that gives people hope. Well, and individualism.
Like, you need hope from us. Like, we control you. We control your money, your resources, your thoughts. Yeah.
We got to get rid of that. We need them to be worshiping the government. Yeah. We need them to be worshiping the media or the establishment or the experts that we approve of, or the politicians or money.
Some guy that has a lot of money and then he, you know, gets out of computer stuff and into health stuff. Being vague. All right. Keri, thank you so much for coming on the pod. It was so great to like meet you and chat. And I feel like this was a really good combo, whether we were good at using the code words or not.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. Where can people
go through and bleep me?
I might do a gentle bleeping. Where can people find you, follow you, keep up with you?
Right. So you guys can find us at unsafespace.com. We have a book club if you want. It's free to join and participate. We are currently reading Jordan Peterson's new book. And anything you want to find, you can find it on unsafespace.com.
It's dense. I'm reading it right now. It's like, I feel like I find myself having to reread a lot of sentences. I don't know. He's just like, there's so much in there, but it's all good stuff.
Maybe you can show up for our discussion.
Oh, yes. I'll be like, finally, a book I've read, and not like high school and be like, oh, I sort of read the Cliff Notes. Here I am. All right. This was fun. Thanks, Keri.
Well, thank you so much.